All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Free Therapy Wednesday. We love checking in with our friend, Dr. Laura Saunders, for a little midweek mental health boost.
Yes, and there's a good chance that you have plenty of things on your to-do list for the spring. So today we're talking about improving our time management skills, which is really so important. And I know I need a refresher on this, Dr. Saunders.
Yeah, so this is, first of all, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
It's a little confusing to me because I usually see you two on Thursday morning. So
Yes.
But it is, in fact, Wednesday. So I'm grounding myself, always important. Yeah, so what's on your spring to-do list? Is it about decluttering a closet, cleaning out a porch, a yard to rake and clean up? What do you need to do? So this is the time to kind of manage your time a little bit more clearly and enact some strategies to help yourself with your spring renewal.
All right, now you say there are a few tried and trusted time management techniques. Can we go through some of them?
Yes, we can. Actually, the most important one is to prioritize your tasks. And it is so important to do the least desirable task first. If you say, oh, I really don't want to clean out my closet, and you save that, you're never going to do it. You have to do the least desirable task first. Once that is done, it lifts the weight off of you, and it just makes it emotionally so much easier to tackle the other tasks.
You know, one of the big things we're trying to do in our house is decluttering.
Yeah.
Because we are trying to live a more minimalistic life, and having two little kids, it's insane. And I mean, it's not even just kids. You don't have to have kids, but the amount of stuff that you acquire, it's ridiculous. And last night, it's so funny we're talking about this. I had George, I said, you have to clean up the playroom. It was like a complete disaster, like would have stepped on 50 billion Legos. And he cleaned up the stuff. And I said, why don't you pick out the things that you don't play with anymore? And he kind of took some onus on trying to help me a little bit declutter the playroom.
Which is great.
But, you know, I guess when you're prioritizing the least favorite, what if you have several least favorites on that list?
So I wouldn't put all your least favorites right at the top of the list, because then you're not going to want to tackle anything. Just pick one or two. What we're trying to do is break down tasks into smaller parts. That way you're going to get over the emotional burden of actually doing it. And you know what? I love a to-do list.
Yeah,
I write
me
to-do
too.
lists every day. I start at the beginning of the week, and then I do a daily to-do list. And there's nothing better than crossing things off your list. So use a strategy like a to-do list to organize yourself. You can put down all your projects, all your spring renewal projects. However, it's going to look daunting. So you break it down by what can I do this weekend, or what can I do by the end of the month. You break things down into parts, and then you cross it off when it's done. And
you say minimize distractions.
Like this?
Right. So if you're on your phone constantly and you're doing other things, and then you're multitasking, and now you're over here. Oh, wait. That window's dirty. I really should clean that window. And now you're off doing another task. So try to minimize your distractions. Keep yourself focused on one task at a time.
And with that said, you also recommend avoiding the multitasking too, right?
Right. Because when you're doing three things, it really just makes it very hard. So one task, stay with it. You can take little breaks to get yourself a water or a snack, but you go back to your task. If you start doing two or three tasks, it feels like none of them gets done, and then it really makes it hard to keep going.
I know, April 15th was tax day. I had a physical date that I had to get everything done. Is it good to place time limits and expectations on a date, like to get everything done like that, even if it's like a faux date?
Well, there are a lot of us that do well with that kind of structure. And sort of, it's like a boundary, right? You can call it a goal or a boundary, right? It has to be done by the end of the weekend, right? This past weekend, I was decluttering some things, and I said, I have to get it done by the end of the weekend. Now, I didn't do it till Sunday afternoon, but it wasn't Sunday evening. So setting those kind of goals, I think, can be really important. It helps keep you on track, and then you feel such an amazing sense of accomplishment when you're done.
And I feel like you have to be very realistic with things too, though, right? I mean, like setting like a deadline, you have to be realistic with that, I would imagine, and not put too much pressure on yourself, because sometimes I feel we write to-do lists that are just like, shots in the dark, dreams, pipeline dreams that we have. So how do we can you leave us with a little word of wisdom on that? Just how we can be realistic there in the mindset?
So that's a great point, Nicole. Yes. Be realistic with yourself, set reasonable goals, cross things off when you're done, kind of review what needs to get done. And don't say, I'll do it by the end of the summer. How about what can I accomplish this weekend? Or what can I get done in an evening? It's hard when you're working because then you just get tired. Small tasks, cross them off your list, and do the hard things first.
Dr. Laura Saunders, you're a wealth of information, and we so appreciate you being here with us on this Wednesday.
Happy spring renewal.
Yes, absolutely.
Spring renewal. Thanks,
All right,
Doc.
still ahead on this Wednesday afternoon. Let's get moving. National Exercise Day is coming up, so the Toy Insider is here with some great toys to get kids on their feet and burning some energy.
What is that Cheez-It box? We're going to tell you what that's all about.
Yeah, that's cool.
We're also highlighting a remarkable school that's helping students